They've spent all this time now describing TikTok. It's dangerous. Its ideas are dangerous. It's going to make you dangerous. I think we're about to see a giant tone shift in how they're talking about TikTok and what happens next. I know the like self-stitch thing is kind of awkward, but it's all about what happened with Red Note and just people from this app not reacting the way people expected. I think going back to like what Supreme Court Justice Alito said, I think all the politicians really thought everyone would just go back to other media platforms, social media legacy platforms. And they really do think that this app is just like every other app, and so we would all just go back. Like, it's not that important. They don't realize that this is different. And so threatening to take it away, we would just bend over. We would just go back. We would find a new shirt. And so the fact that we didn't react like that, I think, has really messed up the plan, so to speak. So last night, we got some feelers from the Biden administration that maybe they're gonna, you know, give it more time. And even like I near as I can tell, like just nobody clued Tom Cotton in, or he's got an axe to grind because it looked like there was going to be a 270-day extension, except he like messed it up. I think it all has to do with Red Note because we went to Red Note, a bunch of people went to Red Note, and we saw things we weren't supposed to see, and we're talking to people we're not supposed to talk to. And now all of a sudden, I think they're going to fall in love with TikTok because TikTok is way safer for the status quo than people going to things like Red Note or seeking out actual communication with people in China. Because do you know if you don't know what's happening on Red Note, it's got to be the scariest thing for the status quo in the government. And look, I know for a fact because there are people who are following these things way better than me. I'm not a scholar in like, international relations and things like that. Obviously, if you're on Red Note, just like if you were a foreigner looking at TikTok, you're not getting a full view of what life is like in China, just like you wouldn't get a full view of America if you were just watching lives on TikTok. But what's happening for Americans looking into China for the very first time, especially through things like live streams, Chinese people are inviting Americans into live streams, having conversations with them. And it's mostly, yes, younger people, more stylish people who are engaging with them, and they're having good conversations. And what are they finding? Young, well-educated people, people who have full fridges, people who are eating well and doing well, and generally have a fairly happy standard of living. And that's very different from what we've been told about what life is like in a communist country. Chinese folks are giving kitchen tours, and they got the same like wood that we do. Like they look like us, just from a different continent. And I think there are a lot of people from America who didn't expect that. I don't know what they expected, but they look and feel like us, and they're speaking multiple languages, and it's not like some backwater country. Now, once again, a lot of nuance there, but it's not the story a lot of us have been told. They're supposed to be miserable and being ground to a pulp and own nothing and have nothing and feel no freedom, right? But they're going to the grocery store and showing us, God, corn's a lot cheaper here than what you guys are paying. And they're asking us about ambulance bills and healthcare bills and showing us, oh, yeah, you wouldn't pay, like they pay small premiums and we have access to healthcare. Is there a lot more nuance than that? Absolutely. But if you're just getting a snapshot and asking questions, it doesn't look good for America. So what do you have? Communist folks asking about, why do you guys pay so much taxes and why do you pay for healthcare like that? And you have the capitalists, the beacon of capitalism going, why do we do that? And we can't have that. We just can't in our society. It leads to too much trouble. And so I think you're going to see all of a sudden, oh, TikTok's not so bad. You know why? Because a week ago, the biggest talking point on TikTok was, is Robbie Williams famous enough to have a movie come out in America? Now the question is, why does communist China pay less for groceries than us and healthcare? And why is Shanghai such a nice city? And I really wonder if the politicians and everybody in DC right now is going, you know what? Maybe TikTok's not so bad compared to the alternative.